Watson. I'm the CEO of the Palm Springs Chamber of Commerce. And on behalf of our entire board of directors and staff, we are honored to host the State of the City for you tonight. If you didn't love Palm Springs when you walked in that door, you are going to fall in love with Palm Springs all over again. You have an amazing show ahead of you, and the videos and the PowerPoint, you're going to leave feeling so happy that you can call Palm Springs your home. Thank you. And we get to celebrate all this in the beautiful Plaza Theater. So here to say a few words about the theater, two really good friends of mine. Let's bring to the stage Councilmember Jeff Coors and former Councilmember J.R. Roberts.
Yay!
So here we are again.
Here we are. Welcome back.
Thank you. I know why you're here. What am I still doing here?
You're stalking us.
God, I thought I was over that. Oh well, here we are. No, my real purpose tonight is to welcome you to the theater. So, on behalf of the Palm Springs Plaza Theater Foundation Board of Directors, I want to welcome you to the Plaza Theater. We are thrilled to have you here, and the theater itself is thrilled to have you here because this is the point of a theater. And these are the kind of things we hope will go on in this theater for the next 100 years. As many of you know, we're doing well in our fundraising to restore the theater. We still need your help. I have some exciting news, though, that I'm just bringing tonight, and that is two great organizations here in Palm Springs, Modernism Week, have committed $100,000 to the Plaza Theater.
Yay!
Yeah, that's awesome. And the Palm Springs Preservation Foundation, our premier preservation organization, has committed to $50,000 for the Plaza Theater. And I'm just super excited to tell you that, but it's time for me now to hand this over to our councilman.
Great. So a big hand for JR, who's volunteering his time to raise the money to restore this beautiful theater. So JR, thank you so much. So just briefly, the restoration of this theater, something the council is unanimous on, is so important. It's one of the last pieces of the full revitalization of our beautiful downtown. And it's one of only two major pieces of the downtown that belong to us, all of us, the city, the people. The new downtown park, where the Chamber's done such a great job with their Wednesday night concert series. And this gorgeous theater. And it's going to do so much for our residents. It's going to be a community asset. It's going to help our small businesses and bring people downtown. It's going to help tourism. But most of all, it's going to be something we all get to enjoy. Fundraising is really off to a great start, and there's an opportunity for everyone to make a donation if you'd like. There are cards outside, there are QR codes. Whatever anyone can give, obviously not everyone can do $5 million, but $50, whatever you can give, this is our theater, and we should all be part of it. So please think about making a donation, and welcome to this gorgeous, gorgeous facility. And with that, back to you, Nona.
Let's quickly roll the video.
Gino, I miss my favorite anchor on the TV news. What are you up to these days?
Well, I'll tell you, JR, I'm spending most of my time now trying to help save the glorious Plaza Theater in the heart of downtown Palm Springs.
That's crazy, because I'm doing that too. But how do other people get involved with that?
Well, I'll tell you what, all you gotta do is go to our website, SaveThePlazaTheaterPS.com, and donate and help us out. And we're gonna renovate this 1936 classic theater back to its original glory.
Perfect. And now it's one of my favorite times. It's time to thank the sponsors. So I'd like to welcome to the stage our president, Gabe Tirado with Lulu, California Bistro, and he's going to help me thank all the sponsors.
Our presenting sponsor for this evening is UseCap. City of Palm Springs, Eisenhower Health, Agua Caliente Band of Kuya Indians, Desert Care Network, Marilon, Palm Springs Sunny Cycle, Grit Development, Elevated Experiences, and El Corso.
Lulu, California Bistro, Southern California Edison, Pacific Premier Bank, Marinoff Madsen, Gordon and Campbell, Schleck, Slevlin and Schoenberger, Jessup Auto, The Desert Sun, Brick Rex Communications, Frisky Business, Palm Springs Cat Cafe, Martha's Village and Kitchen, and Huron Palm Springs, vacation rental owners and neighbors of Palm Springs. Off the charts, Palm Springs Disposal Service, Picasso, Palm Springs Home Team, and Visit Greater Palm Springs. You know, we have a very unique gem in the middle of our city, and they happen to be our presenting sponsor today. So we're going to roll a video, and please let me welcome to the stage the Chief Operating Officer for UseCap, USCAP, Paul Lewin.
So good evening, everyone. Thank you, Nona. Thank you, Chamber of Commerce. And thank you, City of Palm Springs, for holding this event right here in the historic Plaza Theater. Little known fun fact, my first boy-girl date back in 1983 was right here in this theater, where I did not get to kiss the girl that I took to the movies. So please donate to this theater, the site of my own personal first love affair, and it's a great theater. Seriously, a lot of people have been asking me, what happened to Paul Lewin after he left city government? And it's my great pleasure to introduce to you the United States and Canadian Academy of Pathology. It is located right here in downtown Palm Springs. An extreme group of professionals, will you just raise your hands here, the people that work for USCAP, have built this facility out. We're gonna roll a video in 20 seconds that shows you what happens when a city invests in itself and attracts some of the greatest talents in the world. And with that, I'd like to say, Nona, can we roll the tape?
We can roll the video.
The United States and Canadian Academy of Pathology, or USCAP, is a binational organization that relocated its headquarters to Palm Springs, California in 2015. USCAP is a medical association with nearly 8,000 members. Pathologists are both doctors and scientists who are dedicated to diagnosing disease in all its forms, from cancer and bacterial infections to hereditary and infectious diseases. Some pathologists work in hospitals or laboratories, and others work at academic institutions like Harvard, Yale, and Stanford. During the pandemic, USCAP expanded its investment in Palm Springs with a $4 million custom-built facility in the heart of downtown Palm Springs. This purpose-built facility was created so that USCAP could maintain its position as a revolutionary force for medical education. At 18,000 square feet, the heart of USCAP's operation occupies the entire third floor of the West Elm building between the Kimpton and the Hyatt hotels, making USCAP one of the largest tenants in downtown Palm Springs. With 2 massive microscopy laboratories and an integrated lecture hall and TV studio, the facility is a state-of-the-art learning center that is designed for the 21st century. In addition to advancing the cause of science and medicine, USCAP also provides top quality jobs to local residents in fields like information technology, association management, ACCME compliance, scientific journal review, and complex meeting planning. USCAP's annual scientific meeting is the largest in the world for pathology, regularly generating more than 9,000 room nights in its host cities. With its classrooms hiding in plain sight, USCAP has hosted more than 2,000 pathologists from across the globe since its inception. USCAP intentionally helps to build brand awareness of the greater Palm Springs area by encouraging attendees to fly in through the Palm Springs International Airport and stay at local hotels, as well as dine and shop locally during their stay. Attendees are encouraged to enjoy a variety of local activities, including exploring the natural beauty of the desert and embracing the unique attractions and events which make Palm Springs like no place else. When not in use for education, USCAP's Film Studio and Broadcast Center are available to rent by other organizations. USCAP salutes the Palm Springs City Council, the Palm Springs Chamber of Commerce, and the business women and men of the greater Palm Springs area, and invites you to learn more about USCAP's role in the local and global community. As a member of the Palm Springs Chamber of Commerce's President's Circle, USCAP is proud to be the official host of today's State of the City event.
Thank you so much, Paul, for doing that. And now I'd like to call the entire board of directors of the Palm Springs Chamber and some invited guests that would like to come up. We're going to do a few awards. Come on, you know you want to. Stage left, stage right, it doesn't matter.
Thank you all for being here tonight. Special thanks to the board for taking time out of the day for this special occasion. Anyone else coming up? All right. Our first award, it's our Community Leadership Award. This year, the award goes to Linda Barak, CEO and President of Martha's Village and Kitchen. Linda has served as Martha's Village's Director of Operations and Director of Programs. She has spent more than 30 years of working in the nonprofit sector and has worked with several California organizations. When the City of Palm Springs requested her expert assistance, Linda Barak and her professional team at Martha's Village and Kitchen worked tirelessly to open our new daytime drop-in access center for unhoused individuals. Since the center's opening in late August, Linda's team has assisted hundreds, we repeat, hundreds of homeless residents and much needed wraparound services. We are incredibly grateful to Linda for all she has done, and we thank her for her tremendous leadership. Thank you, Linda.
You know, sometimes I feel like I should just drop the mic. We've had such a great time and achieved so much with the City of Palm Springs and its officials, the mayor, the council. And you have to understand that for us to accomplish this, we need a board that supports us and my staff, who stands forever in the ready, although they do give me the side eye every time I tell them we're going to do a new project and we have 10 days to do it. But I want to thank you so much, and I hope that you will allow me to continue to be part of the process, to be part of the solution. Thank you so very much.
Okay, our next award is our Community Appreciation Award. This year, the award goes to Greg Rodriguez, Government Relations and Public Policy Advisor for the County of Riverside. Greg Rodriguez serves as the Government Relations and Public Policy Advisor for Supervisor Perez. For the past 2 years, Greg has been a huge asset to the Chamber by providing constant, valuable information related to COVID-19, regulations and mandates, and how these mandates affected us in our community. He's also in charge of housing, homelessness, and healthcare policy for Palm Springs and the surrounding Coachella Valley. We watch Greg weekly on Zoom calls, waiting for positive news. We appreciated how hard he worked and how the strain of delivering not so good news each week affected him. We know, without a doubt, as a chamber, we could have not gotten through the past years without his leadership. Thank you, Greg, for everything you do, and we wanted to know how much we appreciate you and all that you've done.
This is extremely humbling. So I do what I do because I'm passionate about what I do. I think a lot of you in this room know that. This last 2 years was definitely challenging, especially the first year when this hit. And as most of you know, Riverside County was the first place that experienced COVID when the plane landed at March Air Force Base on January 29th. The Coachella Valley was the first place in Riverside County to be affected by this, and none of us knew what was going to happen. So it really was my role, and I really thank my boss, Supervisor Manuel Perez, for just letting me go and figuring out how to maneuver this. I couldn't have done this, though, without a lot of you in this room, without the support of many of the members of the chamber who would call me after those weekly meetings and said, "You're going to be okay, you're going to be okay." But we got through it, and I was just proud to be part of the process. Additionally, though, is even through the 2 years of COVID, it's really been my honor I don't know, I'll use the word excitement, but to see how far we've really come in the area of homelessness and housing. Mayor Middleton at an event a couple days ago, maybe it was last week, said that the relationship between the county and the city is stronger than it's ever been, and that's true. But that couldn't be without the support of the city. So again, many of you know I'm moving on from the supervisor's office, continuing with the county in housing and homelessness. However, I'm not leaving the city of Palm Springs high and dry. And so you haven't seen the last of me. Thank you again so much. I am so humbled, so thank you.
All right, our next award is our Economic Development Award. This year, the award goes to Scott White, President and CEO, Visit Greater Palm Springs. Scott has served as President and CEO at Visit Greater Palm Springs since 2010. He leads his team with the task of marketing and branding Greater Palm Springs to the world. With tourism at the cornerstone of our economy, his leadership and the resources he provided helped guide us through 2 years of shutdown that could have devastated our valley. As we see our way out of the pandemic, Scott and his team negotiated with airlines to expand services. Scott's creative leadership is invaluable to the Palm Springs community. On behalf of the Palm Springs International Airport, Scott, and the hospitality community, really thank you. Thank you.
I'm very honored to accept this award. I love what I do. I love this industry. I fell into tourism at a very young age, kind of doing odd jobs in restaurants, going to the community college. I was working in a restaurant as a maitre d', and I kept seeing the salespeople coming in, having dinner with their clients. I go, that's the job I want. And got into the hotel business and found my way to this industry of destination marketing, and it's a passion. I love it here. I love our destination. But one of the things that I've learned as a leader is surround yourself with very smart people that are smarter than you. So really, I'm accepting this on behalf of my team at Visit Greater Palm Springs. I have such an incredible team there that really have all the creativity and the innovation, and I get to accept this and be the front face of all of it. But it's really them. It's also the board of directors. Special thanks to AFTAB, Rob, Jeffrey, everybody that's here from our board, giving us the empowerment and the inspiration to do what we do day in and day out. And Jeff Coors, who's our chair for our JPA as well. So it's a great collaboration amongst all of our cities, all of our 2,000 businesses. It's a great industry. It improves our quality of life. Thank you so much. We truly appreciate that you've recognized our industry. Thank you.
All right, now for our last award, and the one that comes from our heart, is the PS I Love You Award. This year, the Palm Springs Chamber of Commerce PS I Love You Award goes to Council Member Jeff Coors. As the Chamber's liaison to the city, Jeff has been a tremendous asset to us over the years, especially the last two. He was instrumental in helping push forward the restaurant and retail reimbursement program dubbed Let's Go Palm Springs during the pandemic that the Chamber spearheaded. The program was designed to encourage our residents and businesses to order takeout and shop at our local stores. With endless virtual town hall meetings, webinars, and weekly Zoom informational meetings, Jeff was active in keeping the Chamber prepared for what was coming next. He was mayor during our first Zoom State of the City, which was a huge success with over 500 business owners and residents Zooming in to gather information. Since he took office in 2015, Jeff has attended numerous ribbon cuttings, grand openings, Walk of the Star presentations, and recently he assisted the Chamber in producing Rock the Park, which is a series of free tribute band concerts that bring hundreds to our downtown, so well done, Jeff. Needless to say, we appreciate everything he's done to support us, and we could have not made through the past couple of years without you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for this really wonderful honor. You know, when I started on council 7 years ago, I became liaison to the Chamber, and eventually that spread to all our tourism and business organizations, but the Chamber was the first one. And I am just so appreciative of the work Nona and her staff does and the board does at the Chamber. And one of the things I think has made it really special is the brainstorming we've been able to do on so many issues. Yes, on COVID, and Nona was such an integral part of our recovery and reopening task force that we had here in the city. But any issue that's come up relating to businesses, we've really worked on, we've brainstormed, and even when we don't see eye to eye, we try and find the common ground for the best solution for the city. And the work the Chamber does is really wonderful. I so appreciate everyone on the board. And to the other honorees tonight who do such incredible work, it's really, really an honor to be recognized with you tonight. So thank you so much.
Oh, you want to go over here?
Do you want to hold this for me? Okay. We have members of the Boys and Girls. Yes, we'd also like to point out we have members of the Boys and Girls Club on the stage with our board tonight. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Shannon Miller. I work for Oakview Group, Acrisure Arena, and Firebird Hockey. I'm representing a lot of people here tonight. So, on behalf of the entire board of directors, staff, and members of the Palm Springs Chamber, we are honored to present the Outgoing President's Award to Gabe Tirado. Stay here. Or stand there, I gotta say more about you, okay? I want everybody to see Gabe. Gabe has been a special kind of leader, leading with kindness, authenticity, and optimism. Your style of collaboration and shared vision is refreshing, and it is with great respect that I present this award to you tonight on behalf of all of us. Thank you, Gabe.
I'll keep it sweet and simple. I think Scott said it best. It's that you work with people that are smarter than you, so you'll look great. And And we know we have an amazing board, and I'm very proud of the things that we've been able to accomplish through the years. You know, to suit up and show up and keep pushing forward through all the things and the cards we've been dealt these last couple of years. It's nothing short of amazing. And I can't put into words how grateful I am for all of you. So thank you for that. And for Nona and her staff, you know, it's a very small staff. And, you know, the ability to work with somebody that has the we can and we will attitude, it's amazing. And, you know, they don't get enough credit. Brittany, Michael, David, and those that are behind the scenes. Thank you. You know, and as a heart of their we can and we will attitude, they're able to move mountains, and that's exactly what they've done in the last couple of years. So I'm very proud of you guys, and I take this as a result of your guys' hard work and yours. Thank you.
Okay, I'll take the mic. Thank you all for being on stage. You can take your seats. Dave takes this. So despite a global pandemic, Palm Springs continues to grow and prosper, and we couldn't be more proud. So let's show a video, compliments of the Bureau of Tourism, and you'll be as proud as I am after you see this.
Hi, I'm Rob Hampton, General Manager of the Palm Springs Convention Center and the Palm Springs Bureau of Tourism. We all know how much has changed over the last 2 years, but one constant in our community is the Palm Springs Bureau of Tourism and the Palm Springs Convention Center. It's our dedication and commitment to make this a vibrant and desirable destination for visitors and residents alike. We've certainly been busy making strides to help our amazing, resilient city thrive. And we're incredibly proud to share what our team has accomplished over the last 15 months.
We always start our proposals off for clients by talking about the warm sunshine, clean air, snow-capped mountains, and swaying palm trees. That sets the picture for what Palm Springs and our destination and the valley itself has to offer. The convention center is extremely important for the city of Palm Springs because of the large conventions that we bring into the destination. The benefit we bring is some of the midweek pieces of business that fill the hotels, that bring people downtown, they can go to Village Fest. So that's really what's important. Our largest client, which is Esri out of Redlands, all of the room nights from those 8 programs, and is basically comparable to filling up the Renaissance, the Kimpton, the Hilton, the Courtyard, and the Zoso for a solid 30 days. So that's the value of that business.
Hi, I'm Kimber Foster, Director of Palm Springs Tourism. It's an honor to promote Palm Springs, a destination that is truly like no place else. We're happy to share some exciting highlights and results from our marketing initiatives. year, we reached out to Pinterest knowing that they've made a major investment in their staff and making the platform more user-friendly and incorporating more video. Palm Springs is such a beautiful, inspiring destination, and they chose us as the launch point for their travel vertical. We hosted 5 different content creators from Los Angeles, New York, and Chicago, and they spent 5 beautiful days in Palm Springs. These content creators generated 20 million plus impressions collectively on their organic posts, and they also generated 80,000 different engagements with people throughout the world. People were commenting on everything that these content creators were posting in Palm Springs, talking about architecture, food, fashion, a little bit of everything. People were completely jazzed about our destination, and they're actually talking about planning their visit to Palm Springs.
Doing great. Thanks for joining me today. Oh gosh, yeah, I'm so excited. I feel like we're on vacation.
As we head into the summer season, we're so excited to share our new campaign with you. And what we want to know is, how do you Palm Springs?
This is how we do Palm Springs. On behalf of our entire team, we thank you and look forward to your continued support.
Thank you, Rob. It was an amazing video. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce our mayor, Lisa Middleton. And from the Chamber of Commerce, a special thank you to our City Council for their leadership during the past 2 years. We appreciate all your hard work and difficult decisions you had to make to help keep our city safe.
Welcome you to our state as a city, back here in the Plaza Theater, where we intend to be for many, many years to come. We all know how special this city is. You know how special it is because you've made it so special. So with that, we're going to start with a video that's going to show you just how special it is in the minds of all of us on City Council.
There is something that you see in Palm Springs, and that's people smiling. I love being a part of a community that attracts the world to our doorstep.
The Coachella Valley is really seen as a leader at the state level because of our coordination and collaborations.
Downtown Palm Springs is our diamond. It's vibrant, and that is exactly what you want in a city.
I think I love Palm Springs most because of the passion of the people who live here. People who grew up here and people who come here, they want to live in this place. They want a community, and that's what makes this such a magical and special place.
The people of my district are what keep me going every day. It's what makes me the happiest, and it's why I continue to serve.
I am incredibly thankful and appreciative to have the opportunity to lead the people of this city over the course of 2022. You make me feel so good by who you are, and I could not thank you enough. Today was a day to celebrate the fact that 36 different street segments in Palm Springs now have lower speed limits. That is going to help save lives. And that happened because of AB 43 being passed, carried by Assemblymember Laura Friedman. Speed limits have been consistently increasing as our streets have become more congested, and we're making the first big step in turning that cycle around and heading it in a direction of pedestrian, bike, and traffic safety.
Working together, our city has come so far over the last few years. I remember my first Festival of Lights Parade in 2015. Blocks and blocks where we are now was deserted. There was nothing, a demolished old mall. And today, it's a vibrant, thriving downtown with people everywhere and so much to offer, especially our great new park in Forever, Maryland, right by our beautiful Palm Springs Art Museum. And we're now using our park, our brand new park, for a concert series that the city and the chamber and others are helping put on free for our residents on Wednesday nights. So it's a great, great day today, and together we're going to take it even further.
I'm very proud of my district. I'm very proud of the city of Palm Springs and the community that we've created. One of the most exciting things that's happened in the last couple of years is that the issues that District 1 faces have been elevated. And now we have community members from across Palm Springs who are interested in making sure that we're revitalizing the north end of our city, that we're focusing on workforce development and youth issues. And they're starting to truly understand the importance and the value of what District 1 has to offer and what the residents of District 1 need. When I was first elected in 2017, Roy's shelter had just closed and there's no place for people to go to get out of the elements in the city of Palm Springs, especially that was city operated. And so it was a multi-year fight to really get open the access center at the old boxing club and to bring in a provider like Martha's Village and Kitchen, which can really provide services to get people out of homelessness and into a home.
We have seen great progress in District 2. One example of that progress is art. And behind me here is a piece of art by a local artist that lives within District 2 named Tyler Burton. It's called Fossils of the Future. And the idea is if you core down in the future to the earth that you'll find all of this plastic debris everywhere. In addition to this, we have been able to restore several art pieces within our district, including the totem at Victoria Park, as well as many of the sculptures that are along Jean Autry median. This collection of art, fabricated from steel, represents the mountains which are so omnipresent around us.
In District 1, we have a beautiful mural that's already on the side of the James O. Jesse Community Center. And that was put in place in the 90s, and some of our current residents actually helped to paint it, which is really special. But unfortunately, it's fading and it needs some attention. So what we're looking to do is update it with tiles so that it can withstand this desert heat.
One of the big things for the voters in District 2 and the city as a whole has been the issue with our homelessness and affordable housing.
You know, homelessness is a humanitarian crisis, and it's an urgent issue that requires urgent action. In the past year, we've asked Martha's to staff up and get up a cooling center, a cooling shelter, 24/7 open in the city of Palm Springs, and they've done that. We asked them to staff up a permanent location in the city of Palm Springs at the Access Center, and they just kept saying, yes, we can, yes, we can. So I'm just really proud of Martha's for continuing to address the need. But they need our support. They need our donations. They need toiletries and funding to be able to continue to serve in the city of Palm Springs.
I think what's really exciting, and that I hope we do over this year while I'm still on council, is get close to having our navigation center and transitional housing for our homeless residents open and running and helping people in need.
The thought of a navigation center is a location where people can get all of the services they need in addition to transitional housing. So it would be a place that you live where you also get services. And that's what we see the need is in the Coachella Valley. Most important issue for my district is housing. We have a lot of families, a lot of people with children, a lot of long-term renters who are interested in buying, but their income doesn't support them purchasing in this current market. So there's a huge desire for our residents to have housing opportunities.
You know, Palm Springs is in such a great space right now. Great new housing being built, and affordable housing is finally getting built again in Palm Springs, thanks to the work my colleagues and I and others have been doing.
There are 2 housing projects that are going to be coming on board very soon. One is called Vista Sunrise 2, a 61-unit apartment complex for homeless and people with chronic illness. And the other is called The Monarch, which is off Indian Canyon at San Rafael.
It's been over 12 years since we built a new affordable housing project in Palm Springs. That's way too long. It will not be 12 years before we build the next one.
Parks and Recreation is huge for us. You know, we do have the majority of children in District 1, and so having parks that actually serve the needs of the community is important. We have 2 community centers in District 1, the Demuth Park Community Center and the James O. Jesse Community Center. Both of them offer a variety of programs for people of all ages. We have a robust pickleball community that plays at both community centers. And then, of course, just a ton of children's programming.
So in addition to all of this, we're doing some upgrades to our parks. Victoria Park is seeing improvements to the children's playground area. But also, on the corner of Vista Chino and Gene Autry is a little park called Gateway Park, and it's got a sign that welcomes you to Palm Springs. And behind that is a pocket park. And we're doing a number of improvements to make it safe for people to use 24 hours a day and to also beautify it.
Our speeds are too fast. In the last 51 months in Palm Springs, 49 people have lost their life on our streets. For those who are on Toledo and Camino Real, who are going to be able to back out of their driveway a little bit more safely, for those who live on Farrell and dread the Farrell Freeway, it's going to be safer to be on that road today than it was yesterday.
We've lowered the speed limit throughout the city, and hopefully that will be effective, but we do need to put other measures in place. For instance, we have very wide streets, and so creating some more medians and creating bike lanes will help to slow down traffic as well.
The city has allocated money for traffic calming. I will be pushing in this budget for even more money to be put in that so we have even a better quality of life for everyone that lives here.
One of the things that is incredible about being in Palm Springs is we have demonstrated over the last 25 years that a commitment to diversity, a commitment to inclusion, a commitment to welcoming people whoever they are from wherever they are has made us a stronger, smarter, more caring community. And it's been darn good for the bottom line, too.
I think Palm Springs has always been a diverse place. So many of the people that make it possible for people to come here and enjoy our city is because of Black and brown residents in Palm Springs. It's important that we stay a diverse community and that we are truly reflective of all of the different types of people that live here.
State of the City is one of incredible achievement, incredible promise, and real down-to-earth challenges to respond to. The issues for us is how do we make sure that we keep the quality of life really strong for everyone who, when they get home, they feel like they're home.
There's a lot of work we need to do, but as long as we continue to do good work, we're going to have a bright future.
Everyone wants to be here in Palm Springs, and so it's incredible that we built this brand and invested in our city, and it truly is like no place else.
I get to be mayor of one of the most beautiful cities in the world, filled with some of the most incredibly talented achievers in the world, mayor of a city that is constantly in motion, constantly bursting with energy.
I can tell you that Palm Springs is, in my mind, off the hook. I can't think of a better place to live.
Every time I fly back from vacation, I think everyone else is flying here for vacation. I get to live here 365 days a year.
I'm making sure that no one is forgotten in Palm Springs, that we're doing everything we can to lift up the community.
I love the city. I know that the future of California is here in the Coachella Valley and in Palm Springs.
And how cool is that?
Thank you for letting us serve you. And the next thank you is to our two wonderful ASL interpreters that are with us this evening. Our commitment to the deaf community is simply one of the many commitments that we have to ensuring Palm Springs is always a place where everyone is welcome and everyone can be understood. So no State of the City is complete without getting to some numbers, so let's start with some numbers because they're actually not bad. General fund total revenue. We hit a really low point during COVID, particularly that second quarter of 2020. And our economy, built on some very strong fundamentals, has come roaring back. We will finish this fiscal year on June 30 with $169 million in revenue coming into the city. Most of that being driven by sales tax increases, TOT tax increases, and people coming to visit Palm Springs. But I want to go back to a number even farther back. 10 years ago, at the height of the recession, total revenue coming into the city of Palm Springs was just under $70 million. And the city council at that time, at the height of a recession, made a commitment and an investment to this city. We started TOT rebates, we did other actions to incentivize local entrepreneurs to build. We reached out to the voters and passed Measure J. 57 to 43. A sales tax increase was passed in our city at the height of the recession. That was a commitment of the community, it was a commitment of that city council, and we are in their debt, we are in your debt. What we are seeing today is the direct result of the investment that was made a decade ago. Thank you. Any one of you who is a realtor, and I think it's every other person out there, knows the property taxes, that property values have been going up. Well, we're seeing it in our property tax revenue. Property taxes are one of the most reliable sources of income, and it is just a really nice thing to be able to start each year knowing that we're going to be close to $30 million coming in just from collecting our property taxes. TOT, we're going to hit $45 million in TOT this year. What an incredible achievement. It proves that people wanted to come to visit a city where they felt they would be safe. $48 million, maybe even more, because AFTAB keeps telling me he's raising the rates every other day next year. The hotels accounted for most of the increase that we had, and our hotels are doing really, really well. But one of the more dramatic increases has been in vacation rental. What we have certainly seen and heard is during COVID, individuals appreciated having the opportunity to rent a house and stay to that house alone. It was a safer place for many in their eyes. Sales tax have increased tremendously. If you go back 10 years, that number that's now sitting at $30 million, we collected $8 million in sales tax. Our restaurants, our retailers are doing an incredible job. I didn't hear from any public health official that cannabis would be increasing during COVID. But COVID appears to have been really good for cannabis. So let's talk about COVID, and let's do so a little more seriously. This chart is a chart that shows on a weekly basis how many new cases of COVID came in. And the one thing that shows up very dramatically is that it was in the 2 winter quarters that COVID increased so tremendously. We hit a high in January of this year of 572 new COVID cases in 1 week. For the 2 years, we have gone over 7,800 COVID cases in a city of 45,000 people. That's how dramatic and contagious this disease has been. This chart is a hard one to look at. Over the course of the 2 years, we've lost 156 of our neighbors to this disease. We miss them every single day. One of the things that we do know from looking at these numbers is we've lost 31 in the last year since vaccinations have been available and our residents are going out and getting themselves vaccinated, and those vaccinations are saving lives. And if you haven't gotten boosted, any one of these locations is around and available and taking appointments, and some of them are even taking walk-in to make sure you get boosted. We don't know all that the new normal is going to be when it comes to COVID. But one thing we do know, here in Palm Springs, we will do everything that we can to keep our community safe. So speaking of safety, let's talk about our fire department.
In the last year, nearly 15,000 times, someone called 911 and said they needed the fire department. That's an incredible number. It comes out to being equal to 1.7 times every hour of every day of the year someone was calling the fire department. Nearly 9,000 of those calls were for medical aid. Over 1,750 times it was to respond to a fire. 368 traffic collisions. Well, I'm going to bring that number down. It was an increase of nearly 19% in 1 year. But when it comes to responding to a fire, we get there on average in 5 minutes and 9 seconds. We added over $6 million in new equipment for our fire department. We hired 5 additional firefighters, and we've got many more scheduled in this year's budget. And the best new hire was Ranger. And Ranger's job is to make sure that when firefighters get back from saving lives, that they have someone that they can talk to about anything, and someone that they can hug, and someone who will wag his tail just to see them. And on June 4th, back in Ruth Hardy Park, we will have the 89th Firefighters Association Fish Fry. We're looking forward to seeing all of you out there. It is a grand time, and it only costs $10. So let's talk about our police department. And I want to start at the top. Over the last year, we have been fortunate to have 3 incredibly talented and committed leaders of our police department. Chief Brian Reyes, who gave us over 25 years in this city before taking his well-deserved retirement. Interim Chief Melissa Demaray did a fabulous job in the 3 months that she was in charge. And I'm starting a campaign of Melissa for Chief someday, soon. Andrew Mills has brought absolutely new energy, enthusiasm, and thoughtfulness to the Palm Springs Police Department. We hit a home run when we hired Andrew Mills. In the last year, 61,000 phone calls came in asking for service from our police department. That's 167 times a day someone is asking for the police. And when you call to ask for the police, you expect them to be there very, very quickly. Those are not calls that people make just at random. We seized 80 guns last year out of this city. That's 80 guns that will not be used to kill someone, to injure someone, or to threaten someone. That is a difference maker. Our code compliance staff made nearly 4,000 calls during the course of the year. Chief Mills went out and met with all of the neighborhoods across the city. We had 5 different sessions in each one of our city council districts. There was communication that was back and forth. People were engaged in discussions with the chief and with the leadership of the department, and we talked about what are the priorities that we need to be addressing. He and his leadership team spent 2 sessions strictly with the business community to understand what your needs are moving forward. And from that, they identified 3 areas of responsibility in the city. The northern part of our city that's going to be under the leadership of Lieutenant Frank Browning, And the issues that were identified in the northern part of the city as most critical were gun violence and traffic issues. In the central part of our city, which includes our downtown, Lieutenant William Hutchinson will be responsible. The issues that dominate downtown are homelessness and violence. And in the southern part of the city is Lieutenant Mike Villegas. The issues in the southern part of the city are property crimes and homelessness. We're prioritizing what we need to address to get efforts at what are the biggest causes of crime in the neighborhood where you live, in the neighborhood where you work. Let's talk about our airport. How many of you would rather drive to Palm Springs Airport than Ontario? How many are thrilled that we may never have to go to Ontario again? That's because we're growing. And we're also growing with new leadership. This week we announced that Harry Barrett will be our new executive director for Palm Springs International Airport. We are thrilled to have Harry. And Harry, please stand and let's give... We're going to have a team of leaders at the airport. We brought in 3 new airlines, Flair, Swoop, and AHA, flying to Edmonton, Vancouver, Toronto, to Edmonton, Reno, and Tahoe. One of my favorite moments since I've been on City Council, we were doing a ribbon cutting. It was January, I think, but it was about 60, 70 degrees here in Palm Springs. The plane was going to be taking off and heading to Edmonton, where it was minus 39. As I'm speaking to the crowd and thanking them, I said, we know you want to go home, but we hope you'll come back and visit soon. Well, as soon as I said, we know you want to go home, there's a woman in the crowd who yelled, I don't want to go home. Well, we keep bringing them back. 13 airlines that fly into and out of Palm Springs now. And look at this map. We cover the United States and Canada with destinations that you can fly to from Palm Springs. 14 year-round nonstop routes, 13 airlines, and 35 seasonal routes that come to our city. We've added Southwest Airlines to Palm Springs, eliminating for all candidates to City Council the question, when are you going to bring Southwest to Palm Springs? Denver, Oakland, Phoenix, Chicago, Dallas, Las Vegas, Portland, and Sacramento. My home away from home, and soon to be Christie's. We have brought Clear to Palm Springs, which makes it so much faster to get through security. 8 new passenger records were set since June of 21. We have reached pre-COVID levels nearly a year ahead of when we were projected. We're going to start renovating the restrooms in the winter of this year. New carpeting goes in the summer. New shops, new restaurants next year. Let's talk about one of the more difficult issues facing our city and facing many, many cities throughout the country. Homelessness is a pandemic. It is something that is a terrible issue to have to deal with, most particularly for those individuals who are on the street. I want to go back for a moment and take a look at somewhat of how we got here. In 1967, Governor Reagan signed a bill that seemed to be very compassionate. We were going to close the state mental hospitals that so many of us knew from the time when we were young that were terrible, horrible places where people went and spent often decades removed from family, removed from community. It seemed like the right move. What we were promised is that there would be community health clinics set up across the state so that people could get care that they needed in the community where they lived. We're still waiting for those clinics to be built. In the 1960s and 70s, the mental hospitals began to close. In 1976, the U.S. Supreme Court issued a decision in a case where a father had had his son committed to a mental hospital against the son's will. The son took the case to court, ultimately winning a unanimous decision that said, unless you are a danger to yourself or others, you cannot be committed against your will. That makes a lot of sense. But what we see today on our streets are individuals in deplorable conditions, mentally ill, frequently addicted, and lacking the capacity to make the decision to say, I need care, I want care. Those who say they want care, we are finding opportunities for them to get the care that they need. Governor Newsom, last week, along with leadership in the California State Legislature, started bills that will be known as Care Court. If they are approved and passed, we will have, with very strict legal safeguards, the ability to have individuals get care that they don't even know that they need. It is one of the hard steps, but it's a step that we have to take. I'm stealing this line from Chief Mills because he says it so well. There are three primary issues causing homelessness: housing, mental health, and drug addiction. None of them have to do with policing and law enforcement. And what have we done over the last many years and many decades when we see someone who's homeless? We call the police. It's time to do something different. So we are. We opened last summer an access center working with an incredible partner, Martha's Village and Kitchen, on El Cielo. On El Cielo, Martha's is proving not only can care for the homeless be delivered, a homeless center can be a good neighbor. Thank you. The horror stories that we heard in the summer of 2021 about what was going to happen across the street from our airport did not happen because of the leadership of Linda Barak and her team. Last summer, working in cooperation with the Methodist Church on Alejo, we opened an overnight center. Again, a success. Again, a good neighbor. It's going to be open again from June 1st through September 30, so people will have a safe, clean place to go and spend the evening, to spend the day. We're going to open sometime next year a new navigation center that will be a wraparound program on 3.6 acres, 3.6 acres that are perfectly situated to be able to develop a state-of-the-art navigation center that will provide numerous services and places for people to get housing, to get help, to get care, and to get back on their streets, get back to being in charge of their own life. Remember, folks who go to Martha's, 89% of them come out working and moving forward with their lives. Affordable housing projects, over $10 million in new affordable housing projects in Palm Springs. The Monarch Apartments on North Indian Canyon, award-winning design and designed for families. Up to 3-bedroom units at Monarch Apartments. This is a place that people in need in our community are going to have an opportunity to live and live responsibly and live well. Vista Sunrise 2 on the DAP campus, again, another wonderful addition to DAP and all of the incredible work that they do. A place for folks who have been homeless, a place for those who have medical issues that make it really important for them to be close to the medical care that is available at DAP. And lastly, look at this architecture. And it's at Stevens and North Palm Canyon, at the foot of one of the best neighborhoods in Palm Springs. We said we would build affordable housing anywhere in Palm Springs. We are building affordable housing everywhere in Palm Springs. And I've talked enough about speed limits, and I will drive them, and I will get the emails if anybody sees me not driving the speed limit. Sustainability update. City of Riverside, which is about 5 times larger than the city of Palm Springs, has 168 EV charging stations. We haven't caught them yet, but we might. We're building 69 stations ourselves. And last week, I spent time with a new entrepreneur who's building, using private capital, new charging stations in Palm Springs because of DCE Energy and the opportunities to be in Palm Springs. We want to be on the cutting edge of electric automobiles in our country and in our region. If we're going to address climate change across this planet, we have got to find different ways of producing electricity. Today in the United States, 69% of the electricity produced comes from petroleum and natural gas. 10% of it still comes from the archaic fuel of coal. Only 12% from renewable sources. That is starting to change, particularly in our region is that changing. But one place it has already changed is in Palm Springs, thanks to DCE. 22,800 customers, businesses and residents are receiving 100% carbon-free energy in Palm Springs. That is the equivalent of over 70% of all of the customers of electricity in our city. It is the equivalent of having taken 25,000 cars off the road. That's the difference that we're making through DCE. We're adding 11 megawatts of new wind energy out at the north end of our town, enough to power 5,000 households. And for those who are budget conscious, which is many, many people, the Desert Saver program at DCE is still the least expensive energy that you can buy in the city of Palm Springs. CV Link is up, it's growing. We recently did at Demuth Park a groundbreaking for the newest segment connecting the south end of town through DCE. The approved route starts in, well, we think it starts in Palm Springs, others say it starts in Coachella. We're going to meet one of these days in Rancho Mirage. But here's the areas that are under construction. And that construction, for anyone who's been on a CV Link route, it's an incredible place. The new downtown park is open. And it is being used, and it is beautiful, and it is the result of all of the community input that went into the design of the new downtown park. We spent months, if not years, connecting with the community. What did you want the new downtown park to look like? It is a treasure for generations into the future. We're having new events in the park. The concert series was an absolute smash hit. Everybody's having a good time who is out there. We're going to have movies in the park over the summer. This summer, we're going to be highlighting 3 of Marilyn Monroe's most famous films. New businesses are coming into our city, and these businesses are helping make us grow. They're people who have made a decision to invest in Palm Springs because they know the future is in Palm Springs. The Thompson Hotel up there at Alejo and Palm Canyon, everybody's driven by it. Everybody's taken a million pictures of nothing going on. Well, things are finally going on. And we are going to be opening in mid-2023 the new Thompson, not Andaz Hotel. It is going to bring a new level of luxury to the Palm Springs market. 1PS was able to return to their picnic this year at Ruth Hardy Park. Over 1,000 people coming out, neighbors connecting with neighbors, neighbors connecting with the people who manage and run the city of Palm Springs. It was just a great day for things that make Palm Springs so special. I would like to, on behalf of everyone in the City Council, and I think frankly on behalf of everybody in Palm Springs, congratulate Chairman Milanovic on his election to be Thank you, Chairman Milanovic. We are so proud of the relationship that we have with the sovereign nation of the Agua Caliente. And it is our promise to work with you and your tribal council to make a better partnership for your tribal members, for our residents, that we work together in the future in ways that will make all of us proud. The last thing I want to talk about is what makes Palm Springs so special is the people in this city. And I didn't want to walk away from my opportunity to be up here without calling out a few people that I just think are incredibly special. And what each one of these 3 individuals do, to my mind, is represent dozens, hundreds, thousands of other Palm Springs residents who have made such a difference in our community and demonstrate diverse communities are better communities. The first is Patty Delgado Service. Patty's not able to be with us this evening, but she opened Las Consuelas Terraza in 1979. In good years and bad years, Las Consuelas Terraza has been an absolute cornerstone in our community. Not only for the quality of the food, the fun of the atmosphere of going to the restaurant, but for the community service that she and her family have given back to our community year in and year out. We are a better place because Patty never left Palm Springs. And if there's anyone from her family that's here today, please stand. I can't see a thing. So, next individual I want to congratulate is Cynthia Session. I got to know Cynthia through 1PS, and I also got to know her through attending some neighborhood meetings at the Desert Highland Gateway neighborhood. And I've gone to a lot of neighborhood meetings where everybody sits around, listens very patiently and quietly, and then raises their hand before asking a question. It ain't like that in Desert Highland. If somebody's got something they want to talk about, they speak up, and they speak up strong, and they speak up proud. And Cynthia has this unbelievable ability to just sit there, listen, and demonstrate, I'm still in charge. Cynthia, thank you for all that you do. Thank you for all that you have given, not only to your neighborhood, but for your city. Please stand so that we can give you. And the last individual didn't grow up in Palm Springs. He grew up in Pakistan. But he came to Palm Springs, got involved, ended up becoming the general manager of the Hilton Hotel. But beyond just simply being the general manager of the Hilton Hotel, Aftab Dada recognized the importance that tourism had to this community and the importance of the people who operate our tourism facilities speaking up and being partners with the community in which they worked and lived. Aftab has absolutely exemplified partnership across the community for all of the time that he has been at the Hilton and has been the leader at Palm Springs Resorts, Palm Springs Hospitality Association, and bringing us the Maryland statue. Aftab is with us this evening, and I'd like him to stand. And many of you know that Aftab's had some medical issues over the last year. He stands up this evening, cancer-free. This is an incredible city. It is a beautiful place to live, to be. It is a city like no place else. Thanks to all of you, it is and will always be the best place that any of us have ever lived if we keep working at it. And by gosh, we will, beginning as soon as this meeting is over. Thank you.
You know, those numbers that they just showed us are a result of all of your efforts. And we couldn't have did it if we didn't all work together. So thank you for all your hard work. As we bring this event to a close, my term as presidency also is winding down. But I wanted to take a minute to thank everyone who has supported the Chamber and the city as we work through the pandemic and are now looking onward to the future. You know, this has been a year for many of us of rebuilding and growing, led by a very positive and engaged membership and board. The return of a robust calendar, both chamber and community events, certainly has been a highlight. It's also been a time for many of us to renew our personal connections and business relationships. I'm grateful for the opportunity. I can't say that enough. Grateful for the opportunity to work closely with Nona and her team as we brought our memberships together once again. You know, Zoom meetings are great, they're easy, it's kind of new technology, but there's something about having this human interaction, seeing smiling faces, shaking hands, creating that connection that those Zoom meetings don't get. So, you know, real proud of that. Again, I'd like to thank Nona, the dedicated chamber staff, as I mentioned earlier, our board of directors, and our members for this wonderful opportunity. It has been my pleasure to work alongside all of you this past year, and I know that I'm passing this role to a very capable Shannon Miller. So I'd like to introduce Shannon Miller. And before I do, I didn't write a speech like her, I'm not that sophisticated, but I will tell you, Shannon what she did not mention, is involved with the Oakview Group, but she also runs a very small business that has a huge impact within the community. And it's this little cycle, and she'll probably hate me because there's a special name for it that I've never been able to remember. Sunny Cycle. But it's the name of the bike. And what it does is it takes this group of individuals that come to our city and it showcases them up and down, the street. They stop at various restaurants where they're able to come in and get refreshments and appetizers. But it does more than that. It gives them the opportunity to go down and see businesses that they may not have been able to see if they were driving, 40 miles down Palm Canyon? Or we're going to get that to 25. So it's made a huge impact. She's been a great friend and mentor, and it's been an absolute pleasure to work alongside of her, and I'm sure she's going to take us further than I ever could. So here you go.
Thank you, Gabe, and thank you to all of you. Well, it's an honor to step in and accept this leadership role, but I have to tell you, the sign of a great leader is reading the room. There will be no speech tonight. I just want to say thank you to all of you for coming, and let's go have a cocktail.